throw it out. I had to scream and shout. Before I turn to dust, I've got to throw it out. Before I turn to...
Hello, Sally Libby.
Hello, Michael Small.
I hope you're ready for something a little different in this episode of our podcast, which we like to call I Couldn't Throw It Out. This time, we're going back. Way, way back to the mid-70s. I have some objects I've saved since high school, and they are packed with memories.
Are they misty and watercolored?
Possibly.
Then let's throw them out right away.
That's not the deal. Before we toss anything, we've got to take a closer look. These objects were really important to me when I saved them, so the question is, could they still have some value?
Highly unlikely.
Well, I've got good news. Today, we're lucky enough to have some very special help with figuring it out. We have two party crashers. How do you feel about that?
Exciting.
Yeah. You have known one of them for about 50 years. And let me tell you a little bit about her. She is a performer who is best known, at least to me, for her show-stopping performance as a ballet dancing stripper in the musical Gypsy, presented by the Pebblestone Players of Topsfield, Massachusetts, sometime in the 1970s. Since then, she's gone on to much lesser things, doing her acting thing in places like Broadway, on movie screens, on television sets. But we don't care about any of that, do we? You want to know why?
None of it.
Yeah,
no.
exactly. I'll tell you why.
Let's get back to the Pebblestone Players.
Exactly. Because we never freaking recognize her when she's in a role. When she's acting, she isn't the person we know. And you proved this, Sally, because remember way back around 1980, we went to see her in a Broadway show called They're Playing Our Song.
They're playing our song.
Exactly. And we didn't recognize anyone in that show who seemed like our friend. And we left without going backstage to say hello. Remember that?
Oh, that's really terrible.
I know. So who, Sally, is our guest today?
Our guest today is the inimitable Donna Murphy,
Yay!
class of 77 at Masconomet Regional High School.
Hooray! Donna, welcome.
Welcome, Donna.
Hello. I've been holding back so much laughter while I've been hearing this introduction.
This must be one of the
Thank you.
biggest days of your life.
Yeah.
Along with when I was playing Mazeppa and was also playing one of the farm boys and crashed into one of them while I was making an entrance and got knocked out cold. And
it's true.
got a concussion.
Oh
And
my
a huge black eye, and we teased my hair over that eye, which was really a really stupid thing because I'm like, are you kidding? What a great character choice, the stripper with the shina, you know. And anyway, I don't want to get us off track here, but I'm so happy you brought up one of my favorite roles and certainly one of my best performances ever.
I don't want to get too stuck on that because we got a lot to get to, but I do, before we say another word about Donna, we have one other very special guest to introduce.
Ooh.
Yeah, she has never starred on Broadway, I believe. She has never lived in Topsfield, where we all, the three of us, grew up. She has graciously agreed to join us because we really need an impartial witness for what will happen here today. And it is my pleasure to introduce a major FOD, friend of Donna, and the woman who had the questionable judgment to marry me 26 years ago, all the way from her childhood in Durbanville, South Africa. I give you Cindy Ruskin.
Hello.
Cindy! Welcome, Cindy! Hi, Cindy!
Hi, Donna. Hi, Sally.
So, Donna, I think we need to welcome you to a project that so far has been an absolute failure. So, welcome.
I am honored to be here.
Because in this podcast, we're supposed to go through the 24 boxes of stuff that I've saved since I was age 6. And with help from Sally and now you and Cindy, I'm supposed to throw it all out. So today we have a mission. I've told you both that I've reached into a box and pulled out things that should be thrown out. Donna, would you like to tell us what these objects are?
These treasured, beautiful, sentimental items are issues of our high school literary magazine entitled Mindscape.
Oh my God.
And Michael Small was the editor of this magazine for I don't know how many years, Michael.
Oh, I only was the editor junior and senior year.
Didn't you come back after senior year to edit it? Michael never wants to quit anything.
So does anyone named Donna know where it got its name, this magazine?
No, I don't know.
Okay, well, it used to be called, so foolishly called Kaleidoscope before we took over and innovated. And Kaleidoscope, I could not even spell. In fact, if you look at
And that's why
Mindscape,
it was changed.
actually, I had many strong feelings in high school about many things, and one of them I felt strongly about was spelling was bad. Like if you cared about spelling, you weren't creative.
For all you listeners out there, this is obviously an extremely literary man.
Oh, yeah. So I didn't want to spell kaleidoscope. And Donna, if you look through, you'd see there are many, many misspellings in the magazine, mostly in anything I wrote. In fact, there's one that I found where I was talking about the aisle of a train, and I spelled it ISLE. Like there was an island in the middle of the train.
Oh, I think that's clever. It's creative spelling.
Yeah, but anyway,
sure.
Kaleidoscope had to be changed, and we were thinking of names, and my brilliant older sister, Lynn, who had been featured in Kaleidoscope, gave us the name Mindscape. So anyway,
Thanks, Lynn.
now Donna,
Thank you, Lynn.
how were you involved with this wonderful thing?
I mean, I think I first became involved my freshman year, and I was one of those kids who wanted to kind of get a taste of everything. You know, I was interested in a lot of different things, and I found out that there was a literary magazine and that, you know, you could submit writing to it. I can't remember. Did we have like weekly meetings?
You did, and I think I'm going to remind you that you had a job you did not do particularly well. Do you know what that was?
Oh, probably why I blocked it out, darling.
Well, we
What
used to.
was my job?
So the process was downtown Topsfield did not have a lot of things in it. Sally or Donna, can either of you name anything you remember from downtown Topsfield, Massachusetts?
A bike shop.
Okay, yes.
Frere's Apothecary.
Wait a minute. Sue's specialty shop for square dancing.
It's true.
But
It's true.
I think it fell apart about 1966.
The thing is that there wasn't a lot there, but next to the bike shop, there was a printing press, and there was this really cool guy there whose name was Hudson, Bob Hudson. And he helped us in so many ways. Like I would go there and he would show me these like thick papers, and they had all kinds of artsy names. Like this is mustard and this one is vermilion or whatever. And you would touch them and touch the papers and wish you could put your magazine in these papers. And then he showed me that we would get clay coated white paper, that it was white paper that was very, very, very white. And then we would use the Selectrix typewriter with a special ribbon to type everything out. And then we would cut it out, and he gave us these cardboard, very rare, we had to be careful with them, cardboard things with lines on it that the camera couldn't see. So we could line everything up on these straight lines, and we'd paste it on.
Wow.
And you were a paste-up person, Donna Murphy, and you were not good.
Well, that doesn't surprise me at all. It was not a well-assigned task.
And
That's on your resume,
Best job.
isn't it, Donna?
Not even on the fourth page at the very bottom.
And I had to go back and sort of peel off your stuff and jiggle it a little to get it right. And now I noticed I was going through, I have these 5 issues here. Cindy, can you give us some artsy colors for what this one is? What color is that?
Orange.
Oh, that's very artsy. We have the orange one with the deer under the trees on the cover, drawing a deer under trees. Then we have this one, Cindy. What color would you call that?
Aqua.
Aqua with a tree with snow on it. Then we have this one. What color, Cindy?
Lime green.
Lime green with a beautifully rendered bird on a pussy willow. Then
I know.
what color is this one, Cindy? You're the artist. Describe what this is.
It looks like an illuminated manuscript.
Okay, illuminated manuscript from Mindscape. And then there's a white one, which has sort of sci-fi, kind of somebody in bubbles. Anyway, in the brown one, there is a poem that reads, "Eyes of emerald stone sparkle from within and the next word's missing, and thank you very much, Donna Murphy."
Was I even, quote, I use the quote loosely, on staff.
Yes,
Close
you're on,
quote.
your name is on staff.
that-
So I found 2 contributions from you. So you were a writer, you were a paste-up person. But let me ask you something, Donna. Did you enjoy the things that Sally wrote for these issues?
I'm sure I did at the time. I have to review them.
Donna,
You bastard.
come on, Donna. Get yourself out of this one.
Wait,
I think you might.
Wait a minute. Did Sally never write a single thing?
Never, never.
Sally, well,
I was too busy editing. And
you were withholding.
I held it in. Yes, I did.
Now, the other thing is, Sally was listed as assistant editor in 4 of the 5 issues on the desk here. And in the last one, someone else, Norma, is the assistant editor.
There was a coup.
Someone was demoted. And I think we need to talk about why that happened, because I think Donna should know about this, because it was the angriest I think I've ever been in my life.
I've heard about it
Yes.
repeatedly.
Cindy's heard about it. We worked so hard on these beautiful, treasured things here, and we would sit in the hallway at a little table, and we would sell them for either a dime or a quarter, or I don't know. Couldn't have been more than that. Quarter was a lot back then. And the money would come in, and then we would use that to pay for that beautiful paper that I'd like to go touch. And I had to go to a class, and Sally was there, and she needed to go do something. And she left the freaking box of Mindscapes in the hallway unattended.
I keep reminding him. The sad thing is, nobody took one. And he was so upset. I said, "What for?" This is much ado about nothing.
People who hear what's going to come next, which is the poems we're going to read, I think people will relate to what a terrible thing that was to do.
Because it could have been stolen.
They were stolen. I counted them. But anyway, before we start reading, because we're going to read excerpts from Mindscape and let the world hear that this is really valuable stuff. And I mean that sincerely. When I went through it, I was shocked. People were so talented. And one of the things that I saw was the kind of kids who presented themselves as smart kids didn't do as well in Mindscape as other people who just flew under the radar and were excellent writers. Excellent. And my theory is that you could be a great student if you didn't have sex. And the people who were having sex were so distracted. They were the smart people. They were the true smart people, because they were smart enough to figure out what their genitals should do, but they couldn't focus. So those like me, who I was just alone with my own equipment and nothing to do with it, I could get A's. Yeah, so I'm getting A's. But anyway, let's get some guesses from anyone here of what topics were most popular. Because I read every word of every Mindscape. What topics do you think were most popular? Donna, Sally?
Friendship.
Okay. Anything else?
Desolation and despair.
That's a good one.
I would say life in general.
That covers a lot of territory, Sally. I'm with you.
Anybody have anything else they want to throw out there?
The beach.
The beach. Okay. All right. So
Walking on the beach.
Okay. So that was the lead-in for what I'm going to tell you. The most popular topics is sand on the beach, because it gets washed away by time. There are very many sand stories.
Wow.
Another thing, a little bit surprising, the wind. People do love the wind. Some good parodies. There was a parody of Gunga Din, parody of the Rolling Stones song Angie. There was stuff about race and poverty. People were writing about that. Politics, Nixon, war, pollution was a big one. And of course, sex. Sex was big. So one of the things is we went out and recruited everybody.
We?
Okay, I went out and recruited everybody. And somebody wrote up for Mindscape on how to choose a hockey stick. That was a goodie. We got, the hoods. I got somebody to write your first motorcycle, and was advice about your first motorcycle. Times were more permissive then, because the freaks wrote about buying some drugs and getting really high. Do you remember our writing teacher, Mr. Rabin?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
He must have written, because there were some from teachers. They did it under anonymous names, but there's one poem that quoted Aristotle, Dante, Tristram Shandy. That was not a student at our school. Then the junior high, I think we're going to have some junior high readings. A real shocker there is that these were junior high kids going on like age 50. We're not going to read this one, but there was a junior high school student poem about the forest is all quiet and beautiful and sweet, and then a woman is dragged through by a man who's going to rape her. That was a junior high school.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're skipping that one because we got others along those lines. We were creative. We did a page with German, French, and Spanish poems.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
We really covered a lot of ground, but I think that it makes sense for us to start with sand. And so, Donna, in the orange volume, page 25, we would love it if you'd read us a poem about sand.
So this is a poem written by Karen, class of 76. I wrote your name in cold, wet sand and watched the gentle waves slowly remove all trace of what I had written there, not caring what those letters meant to me, just smoothing out the shore. And I wondered if when you are gone, there'll be a tide that could as easily erase the name that's written on my soul.
Oh,
What?
that's pretty amazing. A 16 or 15, 16, 17-year-old wrote that. Wow.
Yeah, pretty beautiful.
Wow. That is intense.
It's really intense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, the quality was pretty wonderful, and I think we're going to find the same thing when we get to the wind. Now, Donna, I believe this was sent to you by email. Yeah.
Okay, here it is.
Okay.
Here it is. This will be what we actors call a cold reading, and we hate them. I just want to say that. Okay. Well, we don't hate the content. We hate the action of having to do them. So this will be an experiment. It's this is by Anne, class of 79. The wind, my friend, who are you? What are you? You can't be seen in day or night, but heard, oh yes, you can be heard. So soft, so brisk, so wild and free, it whispers a message unknown to us all. It passes us by through trees and lush hills and whispers a message, whispers a message. The wind, my friend. Where do you live? You build not a shelter, nor have you a shell to slide in and out of, and you are so free, you need not a home to rest yourself. I envy you then for being so free. And you whisper a message. You whisper a message.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
So beautiful.
That was a junior high school student who wrote that.
Oh my
Whoa.
God.
Wow.
I hope she wasn't peeking then, because I don't mean P-E-E, I mean P-E-A-K. I mean, that's a gifted person.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
But speaking of gifted, I told you that sex was a popular topic. So, Donna, we have another one for you. And you won't have to read all of them. There are other people coming up, but this is an orange book, page 9.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I don't mean like it's getting hot in my little office here. I mean, like, when I read this through, no more comments, just read it. It's written by Donna, and I can assure you it was not written by this Donna. Okay? Donna was a very popular name in children born in the late 50s and the early 60s. Think about how many songs there were. Anyway, so this was a Donna from class of 74, and it was entitled Monday Morning Sonnet for a Belated Lover. Though I adore your passionate embrace, my pretzel-bending days have disappeared nigh unto 20 years ago. My dear, for your own good, desert this hopeless case. My body now has lost its lifelong race against the years, but yours has not. I fear that you should leave me now. Direct that leer towards some girl who can take the frantic pace. You'd better not feel sorry for me, though. I've raised enough Cain in my early days to last me many lifetimes. Go ahead. I'll just stay here in bed. I'm perfectly content to watch the snow while you're back in the springtime making hay.
Oh, that was amazing.
Who in
I
high
can't
school is
believe
thinking about
it.
aging and
But-
old people
Part of-
having sex?
Yeah, she knew a Nobel laureate who lived next door, came over and helped her.
You know, this is something I keep wanting to bring up, which is that T.S. Eliot wrote the love song of J. Alfred Prufrock, which was I Grow Old, I Grow Old. You know, he wrote that when he
Right.
was like 27. And I remember when we studied it that the teacher said the best things written about old age were written by the young. But I think that since we've heard from one Donna, it is now time to hear from another Donna, but not from her directly, because I believe Sally is ready to read a couple
dear
of
God.
poems
Here it comes.
that
It
were
may still
written
be,
by Donna
it may still
Murphy.
be etched in your mind, Donna.
A Gull's Cry by Donna Murphy. A gull's cry sounds wistful and melancholy, but as he leaps from his salt-sprayed rafter, he finds happiness in the open dish of sky.
That's lovely.
It
Oh,
is.
Donna.
I wasn't having sex. It should have been.
And you weren't imagining old people having sex.
No.
Now another poem by Donna Murphy. This one is untitled. Life is only present to be developed and changed. It grows within the realm of adaptation. Seek life, seek its joys and woes, and you shall relate to it as it does to you. Don't wait for storms to pass or deaths to cease. Dying is but life in its second sense. Observe the trees, its leaves fly and branches break, like birds flying south, but the roots hold fast, and at the topmost branch, a young warbler will sing. Yet man, an intelligent creature, denies life in its true being. Man watches life only when he wants to, but not necessarily when he should. So when he ignores life, he leaves it, never to fully return.
I was trying to
Wow.
be deep, wasn't I?
Were you a Bible reader?
No. Why did I rip something off from the Bible?
I think maybe. You know, it has that sort of choose life kind of thing. I believe is sort of a biblical kind of thing. Anyway, it was very sweet and uplifting.
I think that was 9th grade. I think that was
Wow.
That's
Wow.
very impressive.
You made Deb sound good.
I know. I would probably write a different poem right now. Well, we all know, of course, we would all write different poems. Seriously, you know, your perspective is constantly shifting, but it's so interesting to hear these perspectives, both in this case of myself, but of all these kids.
Yes,
Yeah,
thinking dying
right.
is but life in its second sense.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, haiku were very, very, very big, and I'm going to move into a haiku mode because that poem that I could not find in any Mindscape was a haiku, and we're speaking of the maturity of these young people. This is how this poem went that I never forgot and didn't know what to make of it. I remember even I can see it. It was handwritten on lined paper, but very messy with big letters, and it said, "Down in the freezer, he was frozen like a rock. I met my lover." That was submitted to us.
You published it.
You read a lot of Stephen King, I think.
Yeah, really.
But speaking of haikus, that brings to mind the mistress of the haiku, our very wonderful friend since 5th grade, Jackie DiBenedetto. She is a legend in her own time. And
Yay, Jackie!
and she contributed haikus to 2 different issues. The first one is this. The wind is blowing, a rock is untouched by it, while a leaf is moved.
Very nice.
I like that.
I would say that one is a metaphor for all of us to contemplate. Speaking of haiku, Cindy, I'm wondering, would you be willing to read one for us?
I thought you told me I wasn't going to read.
Well, you can't trust me.
Oh, come on.
Because this one is called...
Uh-oh, domestic squabble.
Look at this up here. Just 3
It's
lines.
a cold reading by a non-actress.
Okay.
Oh, it's written by Anonymous 79 and it's recited by Anonymous 79. It's called Grasping for Life. The falling blue sky was not really falling, but just grasping for life.
I love it.
Oh,
Yeah.
beautiful.
These people are profound. Now, Sally, I think a little prose. We haven't had any prose yet. You have some prosy things there. Would you like to? Would you like to read us a
prosy.
Read us
This
a
is
couple
very
stories?
prosy.
Okay, go for it.
Okay. All right. Sue, graduating in the class of 74, wrote this. My psychology teacher, Mr. Miller, stood before 28 blank faces trying to get across a very important idea. For 30 minutes, he spoke to us, and for 30 minutes, I thought about lunch and how blue the sky was. He rambled on and on about something, using words that should be locked up in a dictionary up in the attic and never let out. His hand rose and fell from the blackboard, scribbling more and more words, and I tried to copy the way he made his G's, but he erased the board. So I continued looking out the window. His words floated around the room for a while and died a neglected death. For a brief second before the bell rang, I opened my ears and grasped his final sentence. Class, as I said before, man does not need words to get across an idea. He should use emotions to communicate.
Now we did have some sound effects during that. Was anybody moving or touching
What was
anything?
that?
Okay,
Yeah.
I have to fess up. I took a sip of water, and the water bottle like started to suck in. Maybe you could do a haiku on that. Could you write a haiku on that, Donna? So sorry. Read it again.
No, I think we got the gist. But Sally, do you have another prose story to read to us?
I do. Yes. You got the
I'll stay dry.
You got the bottle queued up? All righty.
No, unless you want it.
All righty.
This is The Neighborhood Brat by DJM, Class of 74. Stephen was the neighborhood brat and scapegoat, and we, Mary, Jack, Lynn, and I, wanted nothing to do with him. We never let him play with us unless he promised to die. But once, after his mother yelled at us for not letting him play, he was allowed to join our game of hide and seek. But after he had hidden, we all took off from Mary's cellar. We even tried to kill him with a poisoned sweet tart one day. The candy was covered with cologne, soap, hand lotion, and mud. But before we gave it to him, we chickened out. Then we flushed it down the toilet. One afternoon, the doorbell rang 4 times. It was Stephen. Following her natural reflexes, Lynn bawled him out for ringing so many times. When she stopped yelling, he drew 2 white envelopes from behind his back and handed them to her. She opened them, and inside each was a small valentine. They were both for her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that poison sweetheart.
That was like one of those storytelling things on The Moth. Anyway, I know we have a few more topics to get through. Another topic that was big is nature. And Donna, in Orange Book page 4, there's the spring melt.
Got it. This is by Kathy, Class of 75, The Spring Melt. The spring melt deposits an unusual gift outside my window. A temporary pond springs up with the new grass, the shape of a pallet with an island in the middle, the ocean for children's boats, and a puddle for leaky boots, the stage for performing ducks, and a water dish for thirsty canines. But more than each of those, it is a violin, gracefully stroked by the wind, whose sweet melodious ripples float up to my eyes.
Pretty.
I love that.
like that a lot.
Why?
These
I
kids
like
are so
that
brilliant.
one. It's so vivid.
And not from a person
Love
you'd
it.
expect. I know that person, and you wouldn't have expected that person to come up with that. But Donna, you have nature ones.
Oh, yes. Okay. This is by Barbara, Class of 75. In mist that rolls down to the sea, I walk, occasionally stopping to grind my toes in the sand and contemplate a man. I think of his integrity and the joy he gives me. But I think, too, about his evasiveness and the pains it gives me. Will I be strong? Or again, will our lives, like the stars, die before the sun's glory and reveal the bitter truth? Girl.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Young people struggle.
Yeah.
That's what I'm learning.
But just a depth of both feeling and reflection. So she was in your class. And is that something you would have expected necessarily from that individual?
Not at all. And now another one you have on page 14.
Okay. This is by Sue, class of 74. The mountains look down in their cold majesty at the people in the valley and scowl at their vanity.
Yeah.
Were there any bad
Yeah.
poems in these books?
Well, but there's another good one coming up, which is Sally. Can you end our nature round here with your moon
The
one?
Great Aunt, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, this is called Great Aunt.
Usually, the moon looks upon me like some great aunt, trying to mother me, to lead me. Tonight, she looks cross and aloof. The light which was guiding me is extinguished as the clouds bury her deep within their dark down, cover her face and her frown. Stumbling through the darkened silence, something is tickling my nose. It is snowing. She is crying. Long, cold tears. She has given up.
Lovely.
Yeah. So I think after that haunting picture of the moon, we need some humor, and we've sort of assigned all that to Sally. You've got 3 in a row here, Sally.
Oh, this is fun. Okay. The Hamburger.
By Carolyn of class of 77. Oh, waiter, come here, please. I'd like a hamburger with a little bit of cheese. Just a plain hamburger, nothing unique. You see, I haven't had one in nearly a week. You know I don't like to be choosy, but onions really make me oozy. Do you think you'd mind leaving them out? It's a little trouble, I don't doubt. I really hate people who are picky, but I think ketchup's icky. It wouldn't be much to leave that out too. If it's possible, I'd be delighted with you. Piddling people really are at fault. Would you mind putting on extra salt? Picky people really are fickle. Could you put on an extra pickle? The roll I'd like done to a tender brown and the mustard on it spread all around. Would you put on a touch of spice? Yes, that would be very nice. Thanks for my hamburger. It's really supreme. It shows that you're right on the beam. I'm sorry it was such a chore, but I'm just not hungry anymore.
Oh, that was wonderful.
Sally, it was so much better than the doggerel kind of stuff you and I wrote. Okay, you have another.
This is Metzger's song, and it's by Kurt from class of 77.
You're at the start. Apportion your hands. Your tack on the dash reads 8 or 9 grand. The man raises the flag. The tension is much. Down goes the flag. You let out the clutch. You're spinning your wheels. You're in the lead. 45 feet of rubber. You bang second speed. You're around the first bend and into the straight. You step on the gas. You're doing 108. There's a modified Z28 on your ass. You're into the corner. He's trying to pass. You're at the corner. You take it with ease. You're into the straight. You say, goodbye, Z. Into the next corner. You begin to sail. You go into a spin and hit the rail. The car is totaled. You lost the race. And that damn Z28 came in first place.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's nice.
I mean, that was where we were
Oh.
getting people who, that was somebody who was clearly into that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Who
Sally-
might not have otherwise been drawn to writing a poem.
Exactly. He couldn't escape me. I tracked him down. Sally, I think if you would read Kinda Shy, and then I've got one.
Okay, this is really sweet. Kinda shy. There was a man who kinda met special kinda girl. She kinda made his head feel strange. She kinda made it whirl. They kinda fell in love that day. He kinda asked her out. He kinda talked and talked and talked, not knowing what about. She kind of wondered why this was. She kind of asked him why. He kind of answered quiet like, "'Cause I am kind of shy."
Oh, I love that.
That was from Anonymous.
Well, here is a last humorous one, and this is a parody of Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, which I'll try to, it's not like I can sing, but it needs something like that to make it work. It's by Danny, class of 78. It's called Ladybug in the Sky with Diamonds. Picture yourself in a house taking aspirin. You're feeling so strange. Your hair is in knots. Suddenly something is there on your doorstep. A small orange bug with black spots. Ladybug in the sky with diamonds. 10 giant silk moths of yellow and green flying all over your head. Pull out the bug spray and look for the bugs and they're gone. Tulip trees, silk moths appear in the woods waiting to fly you away. Climb on their wings and fly up in the clouds and you're gone. Picture yourself in a boat on a river with 10 spotted dragonflies and queen honeybees. Something is on you. You slap it quite quickly. It puts 2 big bumps on your knees. Ladybug in the sky with diamonds. Get off the boat and climb onto a dock where strange purple termites eat honey locust pine. All of them smile as you walk on the anthills that pile up around a small sign. I think after all that happiness, we need a little more sadness. So, down on Orange, page 29, we have something called The Crow.
Gotcha. Here we go. The Crow. She stares out of the window into the bleak gray dusk, her breath making fog on the panes, watching a lone crow strut back and forth across the brown grass. A haze lightly floating, settling on it. Alone in the transparency of the approaching darkness, it seeks out somewhere to go. Is there somewhere in this world with its myriads of places preaching love and brotherhood, plastic meanings all, where a lonely black crow could go and be welcomed and understood? Does she see a reflection of herself in that small vignette?
Once again, intense.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Well, it's worth talking about the illustrations. You know, we did sort of like the New Yorker. We would get all the poems in and then we would ask people to make little illustrations that went with the poems and then we'd insert them. People didn't always love what we did. But when you talk about talent, we really, really need to mention Brenda Moore, who was our art director and was so talented.
Yes.
And she could just whip those things off in 10 different styles. And the art teacher would help give assignments. So we would say, I need a tree in winter. And then they would give us that. We also started giving the Golden Mindscape Award.
We?
Yeah, me. And so this is by someone who was so talented. And we're just going to use the initials SML, class of 75, the winner of the Golden Mindscape Award. Donna, if you could read this one, that would be great.
I would be honored to. I always looked up to this person, I just want to say, because she was multi-talented in a variety of areas and ways, and she also was very kind and supportive of other people, including me. So I'm so happy to be able to read To Be Somebody. If she could be somebody, she'd scale the wall of China and play hopscotch on top of Mount Everest. A reed at her lips would play in harmony with the wind and draw men to her feet like the Pied Piper inundated with rats. She'd be a mermaid with coral anklets and countless pearl rings as she rode laughing porpoises and cared for her aquatic friends. Instead of 3 cats, 2 kids, a dog, and 2 gerbils. Her eyes would focus upon a demi-tasse of English tea in a country garden at Stratford-on-Avon. Yet they stare bleakly at a Smokey the Bear mug of 97% decaffeinated coffee in the middle of Brooklyn. Perhaps the geraniums will grow back outside her window after all.
How did people in Topsfield have the vision of a sad housewife in Brooklyn?
Really?
So Along the lines of sadness, I have another one that was written by, not by me, it was written by a Mike B., who is someone that we know, and it's also a little surprising. It's called Darkness. Again tonight, the trees have counseled me among their darkness and silence. They weep for me at this hour, this sacred hour that stands between the plight of my day and the torture of my dreams. They pray for me in the darkness. I am loved in the darkness, and I will die in the darkness.
Whoa.
I just can't resist a little more darkness to bring you down. Notice how I've gotten very involved in the darkness section. This one is called Death You Came, and it's by April, class of 79, which means that it's written by a junior high school student. You came, sneaking, sliding, slipping, from day to day, getting closer and closer. You came, laughing and gloating, feeling triumphant that you would take his life, getting closer and closer. You came, knowing that every step you took was inflicting pain on him. Yes, you must have taken thousands of steps, everyone bringing you closer and closer. You came, bringing hitchhikers like spinal taps and cardiograms, doctors and nurses whose opinions were all different, plaster and x-rays. And you were getting closer and closer. And one day, you got there. Now I'm kind of sorry I read it.
Oh.
Did that person lose a parent?
I don't know.
Heartbreaking.
Another poem that is hard to believe. It was written by a junior high student. And it's on page 37 of the Orange issue. Donna, do you feel you could read it for us?
So this is by Kathy, class of 78. When I was a candle, you were my flame. When I was a lion, you made me tame. Now you're a dagger, aimed straight for my heart. Now I'm alone, and we are apart.
Wow. You know, in the halls, you're walking down the halls every day, and they're just throngs of kids, and you're giving a nod to them as they walk by, and we just don't know what's in those heads. So all that darkness and the profundity. It's so cool. It is.
Now we just have to get to the non-brilliant, because there's one person whose stuff we have not covered who is a writer there, and you're talking to him. And and I have to say, the stuff that I wrote was just crap. I mean, I took that poem you and I started in one class about Marshall's, the discount store, and I expanded it onto 3 pages, and it was terrible. Full of misspellings. It wasn't funny. The meter wasn't good. Then I did this thing called the 10 Commandments for Jocks, where I shaped it like the 10 Commandments and said what jocks had to do, the rules I have to follow. But it wasn't subtle. It was not good. And in the original Kaleidoscope, a year before we took over Mindscape, they put 2 of my pieces in for some reason. One piece was called On the Beach, and it was about me walking by a tent with 2 people inside seemingly making love. I start to walk by, and instead of doing that, I open the tent and say, "Can I join you?" So, based on all of that, I will not read anything I wrote for Mindscape. I know how disappointed you must be. Don't get too upset, because you know those boxes in Nancy's garage are pretty much stuffed with poems and stories written by you-know-who, and at some point, they will cry out to be heard.
Please, not today.
Yes, not today. And now, as we come to the end of today's festivities, I'm hoping that Donna will read Josh's item, which kind of sums things up. On page 9.
Okay.
The future, now present. The present, now past. The past, not forgotten. The forgotten, so vast.
Which leads us to these things that we kept.
How many do you guys have? Sally, do you have any?
Any what?
Mindscapes.
Oh, no. No, I have an excuse. I had a flood in my basement. I'm sure I had 1 or 2.
And as we've seen, Donna has a few.
I have the two that, of course, have poems of mine in them.
Well, of course.
I'm the oldest of 7 kids, and that house is still exploding with the life of all of those children because no one took all their stuff out, and my mother never threw anything out. So I think, like on some visit home in my 40s, she had pulled these out and said, "You have poems in these, and I thought you might want them." And I'm not getting rid of these, Michael.
Just don't leave them out in the hallway all alone.
Yeah.
I want to see Michael get rid of them.
Well, that's the thing. After what you've heard today, would you throw these out? I mean, come on. It was excellent.
Absolutely not. No. This was such an eye-opening experiment today. I would love to reach in and contact these people and just be with them for a little while and read them what they wrote, but that will never happen.
Yeah, it's just really a tribute to the fact that there was an outlet for you to take something that you wrote at that moment in time and in high school and in junior high. And for some people, really an act of courage to submit it. There's so much that people had inside, whether it was their imaginations or just, some depth of humanity that they could access. I'm talking about the more serious ones, that they're also extremely clever and funny things as well. I'm so proud that I was a part of it, and I'm so sorry that I was so inept at my publishing skills.
Donna, we want to say that we think that you have developed other skills that are valuable for humanity. And anything you were wanting in the Mindscape area is now forgotten and expiated via this event. And we're so glad you joined us. And I am not throwing out the Mindscapes. And you really helped us with yet another failure. Thank you very much.
I'm sorry, Cindy.
I know. I thought this was a throwing out podcast.
Donna, this was a blast. Thank you so much.
Fun. My pleasure. Thank you so much. I loved being a part of it. Take good care.
We'll keep in touch.
Bye.
Okay, I hope so. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I couldn't throw it out. I had to scream and shout.
Many thanks for joining us to witness the wonders of Mindscape. And we send heartfelt thanks to our lifelong pal, Donna Murphy, who has brought so much love, laughter, and entertainment to our lives for so many decades. You may never get the thrill of seeing Donna as a stripper in Gypsy, but you can see her as Mrs. Astor on HBO's The Gilded Age, which is from Julian Fellowes, the same fellow who brought you Downton Abbey. We dedicate this episode to the memory of our wonderful English teachers, Marty Rabin, Paul Janesco, Kathy Cavanaugh, and my mom, Doris Small, who was Donna Murphy's 8th grade English teacher. If Doris were still with us, she'd want to claim responsibility for everything Donna has accomplished since then, but she could definitely take the blame for my own love of poems, stories, and exaggeration. We also want to honor Sally's mom, Barbara Welsh, who was another English teacher at Masconomet. At age 96, Barbara is still inspiring us with her wit, her wisdom, and her amazing kindness. And we want to give a special shout out to Norma Richmond, who did so much to help Mindscape after Sally had to walk the plank. We know you're all dying to see actual pictures and poems from Mindscape, along with Cindy's extremely funny illustration of Donna Murphy's poem. So we posted them on our website, throwitoutpodcast.com. If you like what you heard on this episode, please go to Apple Podcasts and give us a rating. Many thanks to those of you who have already rated us. Our theme song is performed and co-written by Boots Camp, Jen Ayers, and Don Ralph, leader of the superband Life in a Blender. Hear their music at lifeinablender.net. And I think that's all we got today. Right, Sally?
Right, Michael.
Yes. Goodbye, everyone. Until our next episode. For now, it's over and out.
All right.
Out here in Nancy's, her big garage. This isn't a mirage. Decades of stories, memories stacked. There is a redolence of some irrelevant facts. couldn't throw it out. I had to scream and shout. It all seems so unjust, but still I know I must. Before I turn to dust, I've got to throw it out. Before I turn to dust, I've got to throw it out. But I couldn't throw it out. I couldn't throw it out. I'll sort through my possessions in these paper sessions. I guess this is what it's about. The poems, cards, and papers, the moldy, musty vapors, I've just gotta sort it out. Oh, I couldn't throw it out. No, I couldn't throw it out. No, I couldn't throw it